Welcome back, everyone. Today we're jumping into another roll to defend challenge, and just like every great defense game, everything starts with careful planning. The opening waves might seem easy, but they're actually some of the most important moments of the entire match. Every choice we make now will affect how well we survive once the battlefield becomes crowded with stronger enemies. Instead of rushing into random upgrades, the goal is to build a solid foundation. Every tower has to be placed with a purpose, covering as much of the path as possible while leaving room for stronger defenses later. A good start isn't about spending every coin immediately, it's about making smart decisions that will continue paying off throughout the game. The first enemies begin moving toward our base, giving us a chance to see how the defense performs. Everything is still under control, but we're already paying attention to weak spots that could become a problem during the later waves. This early stage is all about gathering resources while making sure nothing slips through our defenses. As each wave is completed, more money becomes available, and that opens the door for new upgrades. Instead of changing the entire strategy, we're improving what already works. Strengthening key positions now is often much more valuable than placing too many low-level towers that won't stay effective for long. The battlefield is slowly becoming more active. More enemies are appearing, the pressure continues to build, and every wave lasts a little longer than the previous one. You can already feel that the match is beginning to speed up, even if the toughest challenges haven't arrived yet. That's exactly why these opening minutes are so important, they give us time to prepare before everything becomes much more intense. Good defense games always reward patience, and Roll to Defend is no exception. Rather than making rushed decisions, we're constantly watching how each wave develops, learning which areas are completely secure and which locations will eventually need additional support. Every successful wave provides another opportunity to strengthen the defense without falling behind. The pace continues to increase, and stronger enemies are starting to appear more frequently. Our setup is holding well, but it's obvious that the game won't stay this forgiving forever. Every upgrade we buy now is an investment for the much harder battles waiting just ahead. Building a balanced defense early usually makes the difference between surviving comfortably and struggling later in the match. So far, everything is going according to plan. The defense is holding, resources keep growing, and our strategy is slowly taking shape. But this is only the beginning. The real challenge hasn't arrived yet, and the next few waves will show whether our early decisions were the right ones. Let's keep upgrading, stay focused, and see how long this defense can hold against everything Roll to Defend is about to throw at us. The battle is beginning to pick up speed, and it's becoming much clearer that the easy part of the match is over. Every new wave brings more enemies onto the battlefield, forcing our defenses to work harder than before. The strategy we built during the opening minutes is finally being tested, and this is where smart planning starts to make a real difference. Instead of rushing into expensive upgrades, we're carefully watching how the defense performs against each wave. Some towers are carrying most of the workload, while others provide valuable support by weakening enemies before they reach the stronger defenses. Finding the right balance between upgrading existing towers and preparing for future waves is one of the biggest challenges in Roll to Defend. The battlefield feels much more active now. Enemies continue arriving one after another, leaving almost no time to relax between attacks. Every completed wave gives us more resources, but it also introduces stronger opponents that require even better preparation. The pressure is slowly building, and you can already tell that the game is leading toward much more difficult moments. One thing that makes this game so enjoyable is the constant need to adapt. A strategy that works perfectly during one wave might need small adjustments only a few minutes later. Instead of sticking to the same plan forever, we're constantly looking for ways to improve the defense and eliminate enemies more efficiently before they become a serious threat. As the upgrades continue, the difference becomes easy to notice. Enemies that previously managed to move deep into the map are now being stopped much earlier, giving the defense far better control over the battlefield. Watching the setup become stronger after every investment is one of the most satisfying parts of any tower defense game because every smart decision has an immediate impact. At the same time, it would be a mistake to become overconfident. Roll to Defend is known for gradually increasing the difficulty, and every successful wave is usually followed by an even tougher challenge. That's why it's important to keep improving instead of assuming the current defense will be enough forever. Planning ahead is always better than trying to recover after things start going wrong. Resources continue to grow, opening more opportunities for stronger upgrades and better defensive combinations. Every choice matters because spending too much in the wrong place could leave another section of the map exposed later on. Careful resource management is just as important as placing powerful towers. So far, the strategy is working exactly as planned. The defense remains solid, the waves continue getting stronger, and every upgrade makes the battlefield feel a little more secure. But it's obvious that the biggest challenge hasn't arrived yet. The next stages will push this defense much harder, and we'll soon find out whether our preparation is enough to survive everything Roll to Defend has waiting for us. The match is entering its most demanding stage, and every wave is putting our entire defense under more pressure than ever before. The enemies are becoming tougher, their numbers continue to increase, and every mistake could quickly snowball into a serious problem. This is the point where good preparation finally starts to show its value, because every smart decision from the early game is helping us survive the attacks much more comfortably. Our defense is no longer just holding the line, it is becoming a well-organized system. Every upgraded tower has a specific role, and together they create a much stronger defensive network than we had at the beginning of the match. Instead of reacting in panic whenever a new wave appears, we can now focus on improving the strategy even further while keeping an eye on the areas that still need additional support. The battlefield feels much more intense now. Larger groups of enemies continue pushing forward, forcing every tower to stay active almost the entire time. There are very few quiet moments between waves, and that constant action keeps the gameplay exciting because every new attack feels slightly different from the previous one. The defense has to stay consistent if we want to avoid being overwhelmed. One of the best things about Roll to Defend is how every upgrade feels meaningful. You can actually see the difference after strengthening an important tower. Enemies begin falling much earlier along the path, the pressure on the final defensive positions becomes lower, and the entire setup starts working together much more efficiently. That's always rewarding because it feels like every resource has been invested wisely. Even though the defense looks much stronger than before, there's still no reason to become careless. The game continues introducing stronger opponents, and every completed wave reminds us that an even bigger challenge is probably right around the corner. Staying ahead of the difficulty curve is much easier than trying to recover after the enemy breaks through your defenses. Resources continue building up, giving us the freedom to make larger upgrades and improve the strongest parts of our setup. Instead of rushing into unnecessary changes, we're carefully choosing improvements that will have the biggest impact during the upcoming waves. Smart planning remains just as important now as it was at the very beginning of the match. Another challenge is knowing when to save resources instead of spending everything immediately. Sometimes waiting for the right upgrade is far more effective than buying several smaller improvements that won't make a real difference later. Those small strategic decisions often separate an average defense from one that can survive the toughest waves without falling apart. Everything is coming together exactly the way we hoped. The defense is holding strong, the upgrades are paying off, and every completed wave brings us one step closer to victory. But the hardest moments are still waiting ahead, and we'll need to stay focused until the very end. Let's keep improving our defense, survive the next attacks, and see if this strategy is strong enough to finish another incredible Roll to Defend match. We're entering the final moments of the match now, but the pressure hasn't disappeared for a second. If anything, every new wave feels even more dangerous because the enemies are stronger, faster, and much harder to stop. This is exactly where all of our earlier planning begins to pay off. Every tower we upgraded, every resource we saved, and every smart decision we made throughout the game is helping the defense survive these final attacks. The battlefield is filled with non-stop action. Enemies continue pouring toward the base, but our defenses are responding exactly the way they should. Some towers are dealing massive damage, while others are slowing the enemy long enough for the rest of the defense to finish the job. Watching everything work together like this is one of the most satisfying parts of Roll to Defend because it proves that a good strategy is always stronger than simply placing random towers. Even with such a powerful defense, there's still no room for mistakes. One unexpected wave or one group of stronger enemies can quickly change the situation if you stop paying attention. That's why we're still making careful upgrades whenever new resources become available. Every improvement increases our chances of finishing the match without letting the enemy break through at the last second. The best defense games always reward patience and smart planning, and this match is a perfect example of that. We didn't rush expensive upgrades, we didn't panic when the waves became harder, and we kept improving the defense step by step. That steady approach is exactly what allowed us to stay in control as the difficulty continued rising. Now the finish line is finally in sight. The remaining enemies are being pushed back, our towers are still holding their positions, and it's becoming clear that the strategy has worked from beginning to end. Every completed wave feels rewarding because we can actually see the results of every decision we made throughout the match. That was another exciting role to defend battle from start to finish. If you enjoyed today's gameplay, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more Roblox videos, and share your favorite strategy or strongest tower in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Roblox adventure.